possible. Someplace up there.
We don't have that information except out here. So if board members, would you like to?
So normally, there's a couple of meetings have been talking about hard data, you know, and we really have hard data to support.
Everything, what, Jerry, that would be like 40,000 per year. I mean,
the taxpayer is tired of government thinking that it's an endless pocket that they just keep dipping into every time they need a bailout.
Sold that building, they saved on maintenance, utility costs, they moved into the high school above the gym, they made offices up there, they saved on utilities, they saved on, I understand you have $200,000 investment coming up in the heating system. If you sold the building, you wouldn't have that. Over a period of years, you save on utilities, maintenance of that building, you can move it to like one of the buildings around town that's already heated, and make space available for your offices there and save on.
To the judge that the legislature is acting even in advance of any effort that the court would make. And you have a long-range view of those. When you center educational reform, I think that we will be able to move Minnesota not only above that constitutional minimum standard, but put us way out ahead of many other parts of the states and, frankly, of this world.
We've got your money, lots of your money. Your state legislators are trying to decide what to do with the $1.4 billion in taxes they'll overcollect. We'd like them to give it back, possibly.
And we're saying the legislature is not the only institution that has pressing financial needs. Families have mortgages, they have car payments, college tuition. They have some pressing financial needs as well.
That's what it's all about. Let's put the other foot in. You put your left foot in. Oh. This is coordinated. So, was anybody falling in now? Oh. Come on up. Like it.
They love it. They love social. It's the first time for, I think there wasn't a single kid in this class that had been on socials before, so it's a wonderful first-time experience.
It could only be hate. But what really turned the wrench for me is the fact that the baby's room was where the fire was started. And I mean, how sick can that be to violate not only adults but an innocent child? And it just can't be. We cannot put up with that in Duluth.
The community continues to rally around the Wenzels, showing their support at this dinner. And people here hope that no one will ever be the victim of arson and vandalism again.
That they took the baby's clothes and started it on fire. I think that really breaks my heart every time I think of it. If they went in my child's room and did that this is why I want to do this. So no one will do this again, or at least they'll know that people are watching.
Almost 400 tickets were sold to this no-tolerance spaghetti dinner, and all the proceeds will go to the Wenzel family.
Everybody who's been helping us and sent us letters and pictures, some people, and maps to their homes, you know, talk about come pick pumpkins in the garden in fall. You're just like, wow, you know, this is great. It's just unbelievable. I find myself just crying some days. I'll just be doing nothing and just all of a sudden think about it and just break down crying. You can't imagine the effect and the impact this has on us.
And with that kind of support, the Wenzels are able to slowly piece their lives back together.
Of course, it makes us feel more comfortable because it gives us a lot of strength from everybody, knowing that there's so many people backing you that I don't think that this community is going to let anybody do this to us again.
In Duluth, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
First thing you learn in criminal law is that there must be, in 1993, between Carlson and Humphrey. Humphrey would not run for Attorney General or for Governor.
They're usually all done in July, and July is fine and dandy if a spill happens in July. But we have many more factors here in the wintertime, especially in some place like Duluth, Minnesota, that can just throw a total crowbar in the works for those plans.
In just a matter of minutes, the Bad River jumped its banks and poured onto the streets, making it difficult for residents to drive, walk, and live in their homes.
You have to put up with a little bit of something, and I guess the flooding is just a natural type of thing. And it's been ongoing for a lot of years. So.
This is the bank of the Bad River, and usually the river sits 5 feet away from the bank. But just this morning, the river flowed through and broke onto the roads, forcing many residents out of their homes. Mary Ann Whiteberg and her family have been up since last night, moving their valuables to a safe location.
It's stressful because I have lots to worry about, you know, how long we're going to be out of our house, where we're going to stay. And it's just, it is a pain. It's really, real stressful.
Sure, take up here.
These volunteers are busy trying to save homes that haven't been touched by the river.
That there are so many people that had energy and were willing to help out.
Flood officials say because of early planning, so far this year's flooding remains under control.
Right now the river is not rising exceptionally fast, so we're able to keep up with it with all our plans, and things are they're going smoothly now, or as smoothly as can be expected considering the situation.
In Odana, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
Initially there was 4 people, and I don't know how long it took for the rest of the guys to trickle on in, but they realized they didn't have enough help and they called for mutual aid at Little Fork Fire Department, and they came out with 1 truck and 4 guys. They started by putting ladders up to the upstairs windows and spraying the rooms there, and they would get it knocked down, and they were progressing down the line, going room by room through the outside windows. And they'd had them out 2 or 3 times and they would just flare back up. It was so hot in there at that time, it was just spontaneous.
Although the proposed changes in zoning for Lakewood Township cover many aspects, it was the part that would limit the number of animals residents could own that attracted the most attention at last night's public hearing. Most of last night's speakers said the rural lifestyle of Lakewood is what attracted them to the township, and that rural lifestyle includes the right to own more animals than this potential new rule would allow.
But don't turn around and say that somebody has 10 acres or 20 acres or 5 acres or 3.5 acres that we do not have the right. Or somebody has 1.8 acres and have children who may be in 4-H that they don't have the right to raise a rabbit or to have that chicken or to show that sheep or that goat. They have these rights.
The township board said they're looking at the limits on animals because some people are threatening to sue the township over neighbors with too many animals. They say people who want to exceed the limits that would be set by the new zoning could apply for a conditional use permit if they want more animals. That idea wasn't very popular.
This is crazy. We're going to buy a rabbit for $5 and spend $150 to be able to get an unconditional unit permission to have it. This is crazy.
The Lakewood Township Board will take the opinions heard at last night's meeting under consideration while they ponder the fate of their new zoning proposal. In Lakewood Township, I'm Dave Anderson for Channel 6 News.
probably part of this water will be going to Warren, Minnesota, and Ada, Minnesota. Ada, Minnesota, the whole town's underwater. 650 homes. Plus, up and down the Red River on a lot of farms and a lot of those small communities, the wells have been contaminated by the floodwater.
Well, the council has taken a position that the court has issued a stay on the exercise of treaty rights in the 1837 area, and the council is going to ask the band. They've asked the band in a notice that they've released today to abide by that decision and to not go down and spearfish in the Mille Lacs area.
But he's out of surgery now, and he's in recovery. Okay, that's the recovery room over there. There's coffee over there.
Okay.
Or the waiting room. Okay, well, stick around because the doctor might call and want to talk to you. Okay.
Ken Peterson is one of more than 300 volunteers at St. Luke's Hospital. He's responsible for the surgical waiting area. He keeps family members informed when they have a loved one in surgery.
We've had some operations in our family, and I know there's a lot of stress involved, and I just feel good about helping somebody a little bit.
Jenny Whitney is a UMD student and has been a volunteer here for a year. She helps discharge patients from day surgery.
Well, when I started volunteering, I was doing it for the hours, for the experience. I'd like to apply to a PA program when I graduate next year. But now I would do it even if it didn't count for anything. I just like to come.
Open sesame.
Lydia Mackey brightens patient stays.
Shirley, lovely flowers for you again. Isn't that a beautiful arrangement? Tomorrow will be a better day.
85-year-old Lydia has been at this hospital for more than 10 years. She says she's a people person who will continue to volunteer until she's well into her 90s.
Yes, it's very enjoyable. It means a lot to be able to do this. We have lovely flowers for you, Marcia. Oh my, thank you. Little bit of every kind. Look how beautiful. How nice. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to bring them. Thanks. Always a pleasure. Mission accomplished. We have one for maternity.
A large tractor left a farm implement dealership where floodwaters have inundated it. Even though they're not open for business, that doesn't mean workers have the day off.
You know, what can you expect? What can you do? Just go to work, man the pumps.
So Travers Friesen and other workers crowded into the tractor cab for the commute to work. They'll work long hours protecting their business. However, other businesses have lost the battle when sandbag dikes gave way. Those workers can only wait for the floodwaters to recede.
It pretty much rolled right over it. We had a crew there pretty much through the night, and it just rolled over top.
The problem remains huge pools of water that have flooded fields south of town. All of this water continues to pour into the south side of Breckenridge that has virtually been abandoned. But on the other side of the railroad tracks, work continues around the clock to keep the city's north side dry. Dikes were being fortified today, and more sandbagging was occurring just in case the river rises another half foot, as the National Weather Service is forecasting.
We can't let our guard down. We're hopefully, coming to a conclusion here. It's been a long 2 weeks here, and we'll tell tonight here. It's supposed to crest, I believe, tonight or tomorrow morning.
I've never seen water come up quite that fast, but it just really came. We didn't have a fighting chance.
Leonard and Muriel Wannock are back at a Red Cross shelter. It was a week and a half ago they were flooded out of their home in Breckenridge. They hated to leave.
I took one last look at it before I went upstairs. It was tough because it's completely remodeled in the basement, and that was our living quarters. So I hated to lose it.
After a few days in this shelter, room was found for them at this senior citizen center. But yesterday, you guessed it, the floodwaters forced this place to be evacuated.
No, I got all that for you.
So the Wannocks, along with Muriel's mother, are back in the shelter. They've lost all their furniture and know they won't be going home anytime soon.
The food, I mean, what else can you get?
And like most residents in this beleaguered city, despite their losses and a lot of cleanup ahead, this is still home.
We were in California for 14 years, and Breckenridge is my home. Flooded or not, I like Breckenridge.
They need to know in case of an evacuation.
Boys, you can come up here. Very good.
Okay.
You want to come in a sec?
We got pumps down. This is the most water, well, even 93 rain when we had that 6 or 7 inches. The house was an island, but it was only several inches deep. I don't know. Depends upon how long the water stays up, how bad probably rip all the carpeting.
The simple spin of this wheel brings exercise to the operator and support to those with cerebral palsy.
I'm here to help promote funding for studies to get at the causes of cerebral palsy, and to help promote bicycling as an aerobic lifestyle.
These volunteer cyclists are turning their wheels to help people with cerebral palsy. It's estimated that 1 out of every 500 babies will be affected by cerebral palsy, but with premature babies, it's 1 out of every 3.
Our main objective, of course, is to raise money, but another very important objective is for us to have a chance to tell our story, to talk to other people about what we do and about our services, to get our name known.
Fred Wright, a biker with cerebral palsy, says he'll do whatever he can to help others with CP, and his love for cycling makes this fundraiser a perfect match.
I just like doing it, and I can't run a mile, have trouble walking a mile, and I found cycling's a good aerobic exercise, and it's a great sport.
In Duluth, Angela Wang,
Channel 6 News.
I don't recall ever in my life seeing anything like this, and I have been very impressed by the courage and the faith that all of you have shown in the face of what has been a terrible, terrible dilemma.
I saw kids getting off school buses and getting picked up in boats. I saw 2 vehicles in a garage and a boat tied up to the front porch. I saw families that had lost the battle of their house. I saw sandbaggers that were so tired of sandbagging that they wouldn't even quit to eat.
It just looks stuffed.
I just thought, you know, you could...
Yeah.
I think they're most in need of water, personal hygiene, things, clothes, basically everything. I know we're really asking for money to purchase the items they need and to help them.
You didn't bring anything?
Oh, I could roll up my sleeve. We get. See what kind we get here. Target.
We did a little bit of everything. We did guard duty, checkpoint guard duty, filling sandbags, moving sandbags, placing sandbags. That was our job, just to do whatever kind of work that they needed us to do.
The members of the 1st Battalion of the 94th Armored did what was needed for 12 days and have now come home for a much-needed rest. Sandbagging and guard duty may seem to be strange tasks for an armored unit, but they were tasks they carried out well.
The only complaints I got from people was when there, if there was a lull that where there wasn't something for them to do, which was generally only momentarily, but they were always looking for more missions and more things that they could accomplish to help the situation.
Though the guardsmen are glad to be home, the devastation they witnessed in the Grand Forks area will be lodged in their memories for a long time.
It's beyond imagine. You can't imagine the scenes out there. It's just, you just can't. When you literally see houses with basements attached, bobbing in the water like bobbers, and you see garages floating just murdy down the streets. There's no adjectives or verbs that can describe what it looks like out there.
In Duluth, I'm Dave Anderson for Channel 6 News.
Compare one dealer to another. Other items you can compare costs, qualities, active regionally. We'll be able to continue that. One of the big issues that we provide local, it's our intent to keep as much care.
I think through developing of Care North is an opportunity for the community to really realize the alternative that's provided in Duluth through the independent physicians.
Thank you, Dan. It's been a 2-year period for us where we've been working very closely together.
That's where we moved everything that we couldn't get out. Shit, I thought you needed to cause this we don't have to stress out of all these important things.
Two things I'd like to stress. My deepest sympathy for those people who have been forced out of their homes and their businesses. The second thing is a sincere thank you to all the people who have come forward to help in so many ways.
This bubbling soft white foam could save your home. It's what firefighters spray on houses to help control the fire and reduce the chances that the building could catch on fire. But firefighters say that's not enough because prevention starts right now in the homes.
Right now it's still moderate conditions, but we want people to be aware of it even when it's moderate. People can still lose buildings when it's moderate. And what you want to do is to take extra care around your home and your cabin. And when you're out in the forest, on camping or canoeing, we want to be careful with our fires all the time. Usually not. It takes so long. It's just like firewood.
Startups just a few years ago. To the 0% interest, $5,000 loan.
Well, I've got two sons, and they both played hockey, and they're grown up now, but the whole house smelled like sweat. They'd put their stuff in the basement to dry, be spread out. We had fans and dehumidifiers going, and every time you walked in the house, it just smelled like a locker room, and I thought there's got to be a better way than this.
Considered ourselves heroes even if we hadn't won anything. To have the Small Business Development Center and
Edith, I forgot to mention, I do accept kickbacks. $5,000 loan.
We have somebody from our international offices in Washington, D.C., an industrial hygienist who's obviously degreed in this area, and a professional who's going to be coming out and talking to us about what else we can do to try and improve the quality of air in there and therefore make that environment healthy for the people who work there.
Okay, excellent. Want to stay right there. Okay.
Are we going to see what?
He was like, just like, as you're sitting there talking, we're doing the interview, I keep putting myself on.
I need to know that now we send the mediation back on the 7th.
Do some research on that and let us know what's going on. But the freight training is going for their use before the scenic train, and certainly scraping and making a lot of noise and waking up a lot of people on the east part of town.
We needed to be 5 or 6 weeks into that process, and I need to know that mediation right now we send the mediation back.
Traffic, just like we have here. So she's with us for 4 years. She's been sculpting for 4 years. She does. Sorry, we'll probably get this all over now. Wouldn't be the first time. So that you can give them to your mom or to your grandma or to someone special.
Precious Moments is very pretty, cute. I like this.
They look really interesting and it makes people very happy. It was interesting that it started out as a little bit of clay and then turned into a sculpture.
Seven weeks ago, 4 Minnesota college kids took a bus to New Orleans, Louisiana with a plan to bike back to Grand Rapids, Minnesota. A trip like that in itself is a grand undertaking, but what makes this journey even more amazing is the goodwill the students spread on their way back home. Their 2,000-mile bike ride was made to spread random acts of kindness.
We helped paint houses. We helped to, put in a flower garden one time. Bought a lot of people flowers. Just anything that came up.
The idea for this cross-country goodwill tour came, believe it or not, from a movie.
No, we watched. I don't know if you watched the movie, Forrest Gump, but he runs across like the nation. We thought that'd be a good idea, but we're not good runners, so we all got bikes and decided to go across the country.
You'd think with a month and a half on the road in unfamiliar territory, the bikers would be bound to run into some kind of trouble. That wasn't the case, though.
For sure, I met a lot of nice people. 99% of the time, everyone was nice.
That sentiment was echoed by everyone who made the Random Acts of Kindness tour.
We met so many nice people, and every time we've been nice to somebody, it's come back double, so it's been a great experience.
And now that the foursome is back home in the Northland, the folks in Grand Rapids hope that some of the goodwill generated by the trip will inspire others.
And I think it will be a good example, a good lead to follow for other kids coming up the way. So,
in Grand Rapids, Dave Anderson, Channel 6 News.
Can you just answer why if you're planning on paying them?
Oh yeah, I plan on paying them. I didn't know that my car was gone until I just saw it.
We're going to cut that and we're going to start it. 1, 2, 3. Boy, we didn't plan that too well, did we? Hey, congratulations.
Today's been, I don't know, it's really exciting for everyone here. I think we're doing a really good job for all the kids of Duluth, giving them a nice, safe environment to hang out and have fun and just be kids for once, you know, no more Canal Park nights or anything like that. You can just come up here and watch TV or play pool or video games or dance or do whatever you want to do.
Just mention one other thing. The reason for this press conference has to do with safe and soberness, the statewide Minnesota season. But interestingly enough, this summer driving season, these holiday periods from Memorial Day to Labor Day are actually more deadly in terms of fatal crashes than that holiday season from Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Okay. Just take a deep breath and blow long and hard through there. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. You failed. How much have you had to drink today?
I just had a couple.
Just a couple?
Yeah, just a couple white wines.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to
However, we also have some other important guests. I understand Paul Kennedy was coming down from... And...
Present this. I do have to say something. You all got an invitation, and I don't know if you...
we have 25 guests from the organization from this...
We have historically formed a vital portion of the Duluth and regional economy, which has benefited greatly from the employment and revenues generated by domestic and foreign cargoes. And whereas the Port of Duluth Superior chapter of the Propeller Club...
Family and friends gathered in Ashland Sunday to honor Jessica Lundquist for earning her degree in sociology.
I am so relieved. It's all done, just about.
The ceremony was extra special for the Lundquist family. Only a week ago they feared the worst after Jessica was lost in a dense bamboo forest in the foothills of Mount Kenya.
It really wasn't that bad. The first night was a little bit scary because it was new and something I'd obviously never done before. But after that, it was really not that bad.
The long trip home and reunion Friday afternoon end the incredible journey Lundquist inadvertently embarked upon. Now a new journey begins as she looks forward to graduate school. She hopes to someday work in the Foreign Service, and after her African adventure, it seems to be a logical choice.
Well, I know lots of Kenyan people now. I've met a lot of people through this, that's for sure. I've got a lot of contacts now. It was a really, I shouldn't say it was a great experience, but it was a learning experience, I'll put it that way.
In Ashland, Dave Anderson, Channel 6 News.
A fatal crash last December prompted the Duluth School District to shift all students under 9th grade to traditional yellow buses. Now they're considering whether all students will ride yellow buses. The district transportation contract is up for bids, and one bidder, the DTA, says it's at a competitive disadvantage. The DTA can't bid on busing middle school students, and that could affect anyone who relies on public transportation.
We'd have to look at how we're going to decrease our revenues, are we going to have to cut services and so forth, but I'd rather, not get into that area until after June 10th when we submit our bid, and then and kind of take it one day at a time.
If the DTA loses the school contract, the city would be asked to kick in additional funding of $500,000 to subsidize the bus service. If the city couldn't afford that, DTA spokespeople say 15% of DTA routes would be eliminated. Plus, fewer buses would be in service at any given time. In the morning hours, there would be 16 fewer buses. In the afternoon, 10 fewer. That also means fewer employees.
And as Mr. Flaherty explained, it's a policy decision that the board made. But when they made that board decision, they really, tied our hands as far as trying to be competitive with our proposal.
School district officials say the relationship with the DTA has been a good one, despite public outcry in response to 11-year-old Tricia Swapinski's death. The district's business manager says it was time to reevaluate student transportation.
Well, our transportation contracts expire at the end of the school year, and rather than simply extending the contracts that we currently had, we wanted to take a fresh look at our transportation services and determine if we were utilizing those resources in the best way that we could.
The district hired a consultant to review student transportation efficiency and hopes to cut spending.
We get approximately $4.2 million from the state for transportation services for kids. Those funds are now part of the general fund, and any savings that we can utilize from our costs, we can use that for other purposes for the kids' educational programs.
For now, the DTA is submitting a bid, but if the district finds a better deal, hundreds of bus patrons may have to look elsewhere for a ride.
Bill, do the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
in markets that we know best. Our intent is to manufacture what is referred to as hydraulic attachments that are used by scrap recyclers, scrap processors, as well as demolition contractors, demolition material processors, as well as those contractors who do road and bridge reconstruction.
Students started planting these in the rooms in January under grow lights, and then we got the topsoil here, and some of the 5th grade came out and helped with the topsoil to get the garden ready.
So this has been a project everybody's kind of been involved
Everyone in the whole school has been involved in some way.
These were ones that you guys had to plant yourselves. Oh, okay.
Duluth is what a lot of people call a blue-collar yacht club. People come from all walks of life. A lot of the people are teachers, scientists, engineers, come from all over the place, and they sail and race because they like it, not because of their station in life.
Despite coming from different walks of life on land, on Lake Superior these folks all share a common love for sailing. And on Wednesday nights, they get together for a friendly race. Like most Northlanders, I'm pretty familiar with power boats, but sailing, that's another animal completely.
Most people that I know who operate power boats use them to get someplace or to perform some specific activity. A lot of people like to use them to go fishing. The sailboat is the destination. The sailboat is the activity. Racing is a minor exception to that statement.
The Wednesday night races involve 4 classes of boats, 2 large ones and 2 small ones, that usually make 2 circuits on a course laid out on the lake. The lake last night was a landlubber's dream with no chop and no swells thanks to light winds. Those light winds, though, were no dream to the sailors.
Hard to operate a sailboat with no wind. And so we might wind up having a very short race as a result tonight. But it's still a pleasant evening, and we're all still going to enjoy ourselves, and that is, after all, the point of the exercise.
Most of the boats in the Wednesday night race are in it just for the sheer enjoyment of being on the lake. Some, however, are serious competitors and will be taking part in the upcoming Trans-Superior race.
It's the longest freshwater sailboat race in the world that we know of. Covers a course that's over 330 miles.
Some of these people are some of the best sailors in North America. There's a couple of people on these boats that have won races in Florida and in Rhode Island, which are 2 of the major centers of yacht racing in the world.
In last night's race, Papa Gaucho took line honors by finishing first. Of course, there will be a rematch next Wednesday. Aboard the Peregrine, I'm Dave Anderson, Channel 6 News.
You should watch this.
Okay, I will.
Sorry about that. Did he take the flag down? Watch your ears. Okay.
I had all that, and hopefully, you know, you weren't, I scun my face up a tad, but from the windshield, and came out of it okay, and I was shook. But I got back on it, and I love it too much. And you just, it's a learning experience, you know. You just.
Last June, Cindy Mullock was riding her motorcycle going about 10 miles an hour in downtown Duluth when suddenly a car pulled out in front of her. Her mind raced as she quickly evaluated her 2 options: either hit the car or slide down with her bike onto the cold, hard pavement. She chose the latter.
And I figured I did everything I could to avoid a more serious accident. And you just have to constantly be aware around you.
Just in Duluth, over the past year, more than 50% of all motorcycle accidents involved injuries.
Well, I think potentially riding a motorcycle is dangerous. Anytime you're in a moving motor vehicle, it's dangerous. It can be more dangerous because a motorcycle rider is more exposed. You know, they're more likely if they fall to get injured, and if they're hit, they're probably going to get hurt.
That's why police give us these tips. Motorists must remember to watch for cyclists and that they also have full use of the traffic lanes. Cyclists must remember to wear protective clothing like a helmet, leather gloves, jacket, and pants. And be on the alert. You're more vulnerable than car drivers. Police officials and cyclists say if those safety precautions are taken, riding a motorcycle can be a relaxing way to spend a summer afternoon.
Going where you can go, the back roads and the smells, the lilacs, the lupines up the shore. You're in fog and then you're in sunshine. I mean, it's all the elements. It's just the best feeling in the world. It's better than a convertible. It's better than a convertible.
In Duluth, Angela Wang, Channel 6 News.
It's okay, you can reach it from about 3 down. Well, until... Does he have any...
It's not going to replace the basic skills of reading and math and those things, but it will add to the rest of the knowledge that they need. And our kids here have a really good background of knowledge, and this will just add to it.
Well, we're first of all having some fellowship for scouting, and we're going to raise some money to help the budget for the Voyageur Area Council, which is the council that serves over 8,000 kids in our area.
Boy, I'm topping him or something. That's 3 in a row there.
Solid, but it's just should have a deadbolt lock on that. Oh, it's disconnected. There we go. Okay.
We're here on a home security check coordinated by the Triad organization of the greater Duluth area, and we have a homeowner who has agreed to let us in her house to let the citizens of Duluth know that if they're contacted by one of our volunteers, that this is a legitimate program.
The car struck the 15-year-old police horse in the back legs, causing minor injuries to his right fetlock and left leg.
Yeah, see, if you look here, he's scraped up on the whole front of that shin there.
After Sugar Bear was struck, the suspects fled down Canal Park Drive, across Lake Avenue, going the wrong way into the downtown area. Now, along the route, they allegedly struck 2 cars and injured a Wisconsin woman.
Officer Davis and Sugar Bear followed in hot pursuit along with other squads. Davis says once the car stopped in an alley, Sugar Bear recognized a suspect and moved in on him. One man is in custody. Police are searching for 2 other suspects.
Wednesday's tragic accident changed people's lives forever. 47-year-old Anna Marie Lundberg of Duluth was killed and 3 others were injured. 21-year-old Alicia Houle was driving this white Grand Prix south on I-35. She had her high school friend Jessica and Jessica's boyfriend Travis with her. In a split second, Jessica saw a car coming right at her.
And she hit the dirt, hit the guardrail, and boom, just smacked right back into us. It's all I felt was she did it, boom, boom, it was in. It was that quick. And I just couldn't think, you know, and I'm like, how am I alive?
Alicia was wearing her seatbelt and had some minor cuts and bruises from it. Her foot is also swollen. Jessica and Travis were not wearing their seatbelts. Travis, who was riding in the front seat, hit his head on the windshield and almost went through the window. He has a swollen eye and a concussion. He has bruised ribs and a few cuts. He feels lucky to be alive.
Yes, real lucky. Real lucky. Because at that speed, I probably should have died hitting the windshield like that.
His girlfriend, Jessica, who was riding in the back seat, hurt her leg and arm and has bruises and cuts from the accident. She says she hardly ever wears her seatbelt.
I guess I never think about something like this could happen.
But the amazing part of this story is that Alicia's son, who turned 2 months old the day of the accident, was in the back seat uninjured. He was in his car seat and slept through the entire accident. He may be injury-free because of the quick thinking of a good friend.
I saw the front end, and then I remember nothing, but all I did was wrap my arms around the car seat.
But these 3 people are now believers that seatbelts save lives.
I wish I was wearing mine, then my face wouldn't be like this.
And Alicia is a believer in car seats.
If it wasn't for that car seat, he probably would have never made it. I mean, he's too little and fragile, and I just thank God for that car seat.
In Duluth, Kim Steininger, Channel 6 News.
Oh, it's really the camaraderie, all the friendship with the people. It's exercise, it's just having a good time. We're retired.
Scare the heck out of you? Glad he's not dead. He in bad shape?
Why? Why? Okay.
That is really up in the air. As you know, he has lost his
home and his livelihood. So what, if anything, is coming around the corner? We don't know. We certainly hope there's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can say anything faster than you.
I've met a lot of new people, a lot of fresh new talent that I probably would have never seen because I've just done Denfeld productions, but people from Marshall and East and Central all come in and pitch in their efforts, and it just makes for an even better show.
Yes, I can. No, you can't. I can drink a liquor faster than a flicker. I can drink it quicker and get even sicker. I can open any safe without being caught. Sure.
Warm weather is good for all types of activities, especially picking wild blueberries. All you need to do is find that perfect spot and the time, and those delicious hand-picked wild blueberries are yours.
The wild ones taste so much better than the bought ones. These taste like blueberries.
Well, I've done it since I was a kid. You know, I go to a place to pick strawberries, but blueberries, it's different. They taste better.
I like the wild ones better than store-bought. I don't know why.
Members of the Napoli family are busy picking berries. Even though it is hard work at times, eating them makes up for it.
I like eating them with cereal. They're good.
I'll probably make jam or maybe a pie. I've got to keep jam around because the grandkids, I don't eat much myself, but the grandkids seem to like it.
What I have will probably go for cereal. The rest of it will go for jam. And anything else will go for pie.
In a good blueberry patch like this one here, even though the blueberries are easy to pick, we aren't the only ones who enjoy them. Bears seem to find blueberries pretty tasty as well.
It's something you're going to see because that's one of the main food sources for bear at this time of year. It's easy pickings for them, so to speak, and they make use of the berry patches just like we do.
If you do see a bear out picking, just stay calm and try yelling at it to go away.
Usually they'll run away. They don't present a problem with you, but if one is persistent, move on. There's more patches.
In Cloquet, Kristen Kunze, Channel 6 News.
One's gone, so I'll ask when we get back. She said they had to order a bunch of them, so they're low on them.
What we've been waiting for.
weather conditions were very dark that night, but it was quite calm out here. As a collision, probably due to the visibility for the most part.
Duluth police have charged 4 people after busting one of the largest prostitution rings in Northland history. 50-year-old Leo France allegedly took in a 15-year-old girl and involved her in prostitution in local bars over the past year. His 24-year-old wife, Barbara, has not been charged, but admitted she was involved in prostitution and gave a portion of her own earnings to Leo. Investigators say 40-year-old Leonard Carlisle orchestrated the sex ring and collected the profits. His 33-year-old girlfriend, Sandra Sorensen, allegedly prostituted herself and helped others find work. 53-year-old Stanley Ketela is accused of setting up rooms for prostitution at the Duluth Family Sauna, where a majority of the alleged prostitutions took place. Police say juveniles were also used as prostitutes. According to the criminal complaint, one 15-year-old was given fake IDs and then sent into various bars to get business. The juvenile told police she has a number of male clients who call and request her because they are aware of her young age.
One of the reasons we put a lot of investigative time into this was because of the fact that juveniles were involved. It's not common in the city of Duluth that we know of, and we really want to keep it that way.
Police say tips from residents in 2 different sting operations at area hotels helped them find the sex ring operators and press charges. The case is still under investigation. In Duluth, Kristen Kunze, Channel 6 News.
People that patronize prostitutes, and you get these 15-year-old kids involved in that. It's bad. It really is.
It's good that you know.
It really adds beauty to our community. We have our public gardens have really, people just love our public gardens like the Rose Garden, the Inger Park Garden, and people, the residents and businesses see the beauty that they have and they want to add to that beauty as well.
And the kids have come out and done a lot of work this morning. They put down 25 gallons of paint in about 3 hours, and the place looks a lot better because of it.
We appreciate that help.
Hey, how about the dumbest thing going to be when somebody can continue with some grade?
I guess if there's anything that I can pass on to everybody is that awareness is the key, that it doesn't matter how old you are or who you are, that this can happen to anybody.